and we posted on survey monthly, okay? And we conducted the analysis. We used actually the regression analysis. It was like most convenient and most useful, okay, in terms of the data we had. And we had all the hypotheses were accepted, okay, except for the S1, which was the millennial social media usage, use and interaction, and its its relation with social media political expression. This was rejected. The other part was the second hypothesis was also rejected. But on the other hand, the social media political expression, actually this was manifested in the online political participation and offline political participation. Okay, and these like the regression analysis conducted. But we can see that for certain variables, R-square was very minor, really not showing that the variable was the variable which really affected the political expression, which means that there were other factors which weren't actually included in this research that can be used in other researches afterward and further on. Okay. The findings for this research was quite interesting, okay? That the time spent over the social media wasn't really related or significantly related to expression or participation, which means that they can spend a lot of time online, but on the other hand, this wasn't really devoted to any kind of political participation or expression. So this is like very much understandable. The age group, which was actually between 23 and 24, those ones were actually showed high tendency to political participation, and then the other interval, which was very much interested in political participation, was 18 to 22. Looking at the two, two segments or two actually intervals, age intervals, okay, those are the most active nowadays. Okay, the thing is, I should have mentioned that earlier. Okay, that most of or the majority of this age or this generation, the millennial generation, they are not into the regular mass type of media. Okay, they are more into the social, that they really rely on the social media as their source of information, and they actually use it as source of actually interaction and participation. So this is to show how much, okay, that this generation and this age in Turkey specifically are very much using the social media as the tool for their, political expression. Yeah. So social media, the Facebook itself was the highest used, okay, by this generation, the millennials. On the other hand, YouTube and Twitter, okay, the Twitter wasn't really used by the majority of the samples we had. All forms of expression statements were almost the same, while liking and sharing content were relatively high weight mean. We investigated the type of activities which they performed on the social media, and they were making, the like and sharing content rather than, having their own content posted. Okay, was mainly what they were doing, to like the post or the picture, or actually to share content of others. And the sharing content of others means like this is in agree of what's being said, and that's how they follow others, okay, based on others actually content. Yeah, sure. Okay, there was no evidence, okay, of relation between gender in terms of participation or expression, and this can be very much understood, okay, given that nowadays we're having different type of consumer, different type of actually different generation, okay, where the gender is not playing a major role. We're talking about gender and we're talking about sex, like we're talking about the male and female, and even in terms of roles, they're becoming kind of similar, okay, especially okay in our environment here in Egypt, okay. I just not want to take more time, but the implications, okay, and it's somehow the recommendations are also embedded in there. Okay, we have different platforms with different type of users, which means like, okay, the Facebook users are totally different than the Instagram users. We're talking about generations, we're talking about different way of thinking. So what I'm suggesting, okay, approaching these or different generations or different age interval, okay, should be differently according to the platform and according to the content they are using, okay. Definitely, okay, one of the main implications that I want to mention that the political expression was a predictor, okay, for participation, that using the social media is you know, as a participation tool, okay, is becoming more and more dominant among this generation, and also that, you know, the candidates, okay, should be using the social media more wisely and use it more to their, you know, to their benefit. I hope that I didn't cross the line. Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
we'll keep discussions till the end after the three presentations.
Unfortunately, I have to run because I have a lecture. Yes, so I didn't.
Is your partner there?
Actually, she's not. So can I have an exception?
Yeah. Sure.
Please.
Maybe Noah can
do that, please.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please. Exceptional, yeah. Please.
Very sure.
I don't know if you can hear me or not, but interesting paper. It's very culture specific because we know the role of social media, especially Facebook, on political events in Egypt in the last 5 years. You're talking about political participation, which through social media, especially Facebook, or actually Facebook, which is a new research area in on social media research and social media marketing research and on political marketing research. You mentioned millennials prefer to participate more online than offline when it comes to political participation, and millennials rely on Facebook, social media, Facebook and Instagram in Egypt as their political participation
and also, okay, just want to mention something, okay, which is in line with what you're saying, that it's not only they're using it as participation tool, but also it's shaping their orientation. It's shaping somehow their orientation politically, okay? Yeah, it's playing a major role not only as information source, but also somehow it shapes their political orientation towards any event which is going on.
Totally agree. Observable. I just want to comment on how this is there really an age group differences between millennials and other age groups when it comes to political participation. I know the research has just focused on millennials.
Exactly.
However, from just observations, all age groups in Egypt, if this is a generalization from me, but all age groups rely on social media as a political participation tool. I was actually going to discuss this tomorrow with Professor Debra in her session. This is why I guess the Cambridge Analytica scandal stemmed from, because this is the source of information, and when there is a major political event, this is where we go to search for information, to listen to what our influential people is saying, what are their opinions, are they with us, are they against our opinions, does they share or agree or disagree. So I guess maybe a further step for your concept or for other researchers to see if there is really an age group differences when it comes to political participation. I guess future research could also benefit or try to isolate the impact of offline sources and online sources on the next step, which is the actual participation. We all know that millennials, I guess, all over the world, and I'm making another generalization, they just like to express their ideas rather than to actually participate in actual political events. They prefer political events that has some kind of rebel, like demonstrations, like more than going to the to vote.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, I was commenting rather than asking. Do you think, and this is an area in branding on social media, in branded chatter on social media, there has been some evidence that branded chatter somehow differs according to the channel you are using.
The platform.
Yes, the channel and the platform.
Okay.
So do you think when we, there might be differences in many kinds of political participation between different social media platforms as it is,
okay.
or maybe not?
Okay. Answer or shall I wait?
Okay, answer because I forgot.
Okay. Briefly, okay. Each platform has a different type of customer or has different type of user. Okay, and nowadays that you find that the teenagers, okay, are totally moving towards the Instagram. Okay, I'm not generalizing. Okay, I read that in different papers. Okay,
that Facebook is for old people.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, but the point is I want to make about this thing, okay, that we are not dealing with culturally different type of user. Okay, we're becoming more and more global user. Yani you cannot really look at Egyptians or Egyptian millennials as normally they are culturally different from the rest of the world. They are actually being exposed to the media, which is the global media. So you, at the end of a global user who happen to be in Egypt. Okay, so whatever you're being exposed to in Europe or in the US or in Asia, you're being exposed to it in here. And sharing of information is like keeping, this kind of.
Okay, let me get
We only have like a minute, half a minute. Thank you. Yes, can you go to your final slide again? Easy to do so? It's okay.
I can't
so I wanted to echo what you said because that's actually the thing I want to talk tomorrow.
Okay.
Is that everything marketing is becoming internationalized because we have this millennial mindset, and we do research in one area and and it's the same as in other areas. So I wanted to point that out. I've seen other research in the United States that said the same thing. There's a certain type of person that wants to
global.
But there's a particular type of person that wants to talk about politics and events. And so I couldn't remember all your implications, but I was wondering if you were going to go down that path and really do it almost a personality type for that person who wants to participate. And then marketers would know how to reach that person. I think we saw that in our most recent presidential.
Actually, this is what I'm working on because I'm actually trying to do some kind of segmentation,
yes,
profiling, okay, so you can understand what kind of characteristics, okay, you're gonna be dealing with, so you can easily communicate, okay, and actually create. I don't want to sound manipulative, okay, but you're gonna be able to tailor the message, okay, for each personality differently, using the proper word, using the proper expressions, and this is actually happened, right?
Yes, and this is how the marketers.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm referring to.
So this was again an excellent paper, very well timed. I love the way you're going to do the future research. A really great area to try to do this segmentation, figure out how to communicate.
Sure.
These types of people.
Pleasure.
So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Nohan Basuni and Soha Al-Talib to present the paper entitled Assessing Sustainability Marketing.
عايز اقول حاجه. اوكي اول حاجه بس شوف ثانيه واحده. ما معكوش ميكروفون
انت لو وقفت هنسمع الزمالك محل.
No, I just wanted to say a very brief and good word to welcome my very dear friend and colleague and vigorous marketing scholar, actually. Dr. Tamer into the boundaries of Cairo University is much more than welcome, and as usual, his presentations are very much arousing new ideas. I'm studying digital marketing hardly because Dr. Ayman has put me in the difficult position of being the discussant of Dr. Tebra, so I'm trying to read. No, just 2 points that we have to take into consideration, and I know you're thinking the same thing, that we are dealing with a very dynamic phenomenon and multi-dimensional. Multi-dimensional, we're dealing not with a global customer, but with a multi-cultural customer. So the cross-cultural differences still exist, but they exist in a global customer context. So yes, I'm Egyptian, sometimes I'm American, sometimes, and the technology is helping this to happen, which means that there's going to be drastic changes in the market segmentation every now and then, new bases and new segments emerging because they are working on the technology to make that idea of one global customer possible. And sometimes it backfires and makes people even more different. So actually, it needs lots of your wonderful research into this. I don't think it's going to be one-off job saying, hey, we segmented the market for digital marketing and that's it, or with perceptual maps, which is also very exciting. I guess we need to look at the dynamics and how that new technologies coming every now and then is changing our culture. Let me be very specific. Some of the new technologies makes me more global, and some of the new technologies makes me more protective and defensive of my own culture. So actually, it needs to look at the dynamic, a very, very quick dynamic nature, very fast-pacing nature of the thing. Thank you, and thank you. I just wanted to say you're welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a pleasure to present today in the International Conference. My presentation today is titled Assessing Sustainability Marketing from Market-to-Market Perspective. A paper by Associate Professor of Technology, Sini and Marley, and I'll present today, and I'll try to make it as short as possible. Okay. Let's start by introducing the term sustainability. Sustainability is a collective term that is related to everything doing with responsibility in the world we are living in. It's related to, or it includes the economic, social, and the environmental issues. And the move towards sustainable business practices nowadays on a macro level was due to the environmental degradation and the social inequities all over the globe. The start of the macro marketing, or the emergence of the concept of macro marketing started in the 1970s and early 1980s by something, or by a term emerged called marketing policies. The marketing policies is a term founded by Stephen Brown, who is a leading thinker within the postmodern marketing, and he divided the marketing policies into 2 main groups. The first group is related or including building customer relationship, and this is related to such concepts appeared and emerged in the marketing, such as relationship marketing and loyalty marketing, so it was mainly related to customer relations. The second group, it addresses the lag between the marketing practices and the social and the environmental issues, and such concepts as macro marketing, green marketing, etc. And we are considering the macro marketing in the recent paper. So macro marketing is a blend of marketing systems, activities, aggregations of different units in the market. It's focused on the impact of the marketing practices on the environment and on the society and the social issues. Moving sustainability marketing, it's the definition of marketing, however, in a more sustainable manner. So it It is the process of planning, implementing, controlling products, however, in a more sustainable way by marketeers, and it must integrate with the, or to be developed with the triple bottom line that includes the economic, social, and environmental issues. So, according to Bells and Pithy, the 4 P's, the normal, the traditional marketing mix, are converted to 4 C's in order to be more sustainable, and those 4 C's are customer solutions, which is the product, convenience, which is the place or distribution channels, customer cost, which is the price, communication, which is the advertising and promotion tool. The research problem, why we consider this topic as an important topic, is that the change in that is probably irreversible in the composition of the atmosphere because of the pollution and such issues. A depletion of the ozone layer is the shield that protects the earth because of both the pollution and the environmental issues, and a reduction in the availability of natural resources, fresh water, and other such natural resources such as oil, timber, copper, and so forth. Also, the continuous increase in population all over the world lead to the unsustainable consumption of resources and make it impossible for generations to have those or such natural resources, and a gradual degradation of nature, pollution, ineffectiveness of technical solutions to cope with all these problems. The gap that was there is no study in Egypt that was conducted that combined the main 3 stakeholders that are responsible for such problem, which are the companies, the consumers themselves, and the government. Evidence also revealed that little attention were given specific to Egyptian consumers regarding this topic, although some of them are just at their awakening stage. So it was important to consider Egypt as a research context and Egyptian research. And I'm going to describe the sample. Also, Egypt, one of the research contexts is suitable for such topic to be studied in because it suffers from various problems that we have mentioned. Generally, in specific, it has a great percentage in Egypt, such as pollution, degradation of natural resources, and the continuous increase of population. So the research aim is to explore the role of the public policies in Egypt to encourage consumers to purchase sustainable products to achieve sustainability or sustainable development, and also the role of public policies toward companies in order to achieve sustainable production of their 4 Ps, as we have mentioned, to the 4 Cs. The role of that in specific, and I will explain why. Fast-moving consumer goods companies in Egypt to achieve sustainability in market and mix, the 4 Cs, and finally, the predictors of consumer attitudes toward purchasing sustainable products, and this is with the help of the theory of planned behavior. So, to make it shorter, I will summarize the research questions and the hypotheses developed based on them. The main research question was the role of public policy toward consumer sustainable consumption and toward encouraging companies. And the third major research question, the role of fast-moving FMCGs in Egypt in achieving sustainability marketing strategy. Regarding the consumer, the other major research questions are totally regarding the consumers. I will summarize the hypotheses. The 5 hypotheses is we are studying the environmental protection, food safety concern, health consciousness, perceived value, and eco-labeling on consumer attitudes toward purchasing sustainable behavior. Those are, according to the literature, the main 5 factors that impact consumer attitudes toward the idea of purchasing sustainable products. And then, what's the relationship between the attitudes of consumers toward the 4 Ps? So the hypotheses are consumer attitude toward sustainable products, toward prices, advertising, and convenience that impact the purchase intention of sustainable products. And also the relationship between the variables in the theory of planned behavior, which are consumer attitude towards sustainable products significantly impact the purchase intention of those products, subjective norms, perceived consumer effectiveness, and their impact on purchase intention, and finally purchase intention on actual buying behavior, which is the last variable in the theory. So the methodology methodology is it's applying both exploratory and conclusive. It's a concurrent equal status research, which means that the researchers use both types of research methods with each other at the same time. Qualitative interviews were applied with the public policy makers and the multinational companies in Egypt, and the quantitative surveys were with the Egyptian consumers. And this is the conceptual framework for the recent study, and this is a summary for the hypothesis that I've explained. The qualitative research, we have used the sampling technique, judgmental technique, and the sample size were 8 in-depth interviews with consumer protection agencies in Egypt, 3 with them with the 3 CPAs, and the other 5 were with the FMCGs in Egypt. And this is a summary for the sample, the total, the position, and the titles of each one that was interviewed. To summarize the qualitative data analysis for those, briefly, they have mentioned that there are some laws that are imposed on companies to produce safe and healthy products. However, they need more work on it and enforcing these laws on companies. Also, they have mentioned that for some products, they force laws to be produced with reasonable prices, and it should be labeled and contain some certain information that is important for the consumer too. That's what mainly the results of the CPA's interviews. Moving to the qualitative results with the firms, those are the 3 main points. The perception of companies, and they all mentioned that they have a positive perception towards sustainability marketing, and they are actually applying it. This is through what? They mentioned that they produce or they ensure the hygiene and the health of their products, and they reduce also their materials in the last 20 years by 80%. This is what commonly mentioned by them. Also, they were trying to serve all segments with different products, different price ranges, considering their economic situation and ability to, and willingness to buy. And also, they were trying to reach their consumers and provide them with substitutes to ensure the convenience of those types of products. And finally, they mentioned the government has any impact on their sustainable practices, and they do that because of the core values of the company itself, not because of the government regulations and rules. Moving to the quantitative, our target consumer, Egyptian young adults with the age range 18 to 30, both gender, and the sampling techniques used were convenience and snowball. And according to Awang in 2012, the sample size suitable for such a research was 360 respondents. Surveys were distributed on 360 respondents. A pilot study also was done at first on 50 respondents in order to ensure the reliability of the scales used and the internal consistency.
So I better jump to your findings because time is running.
Yes, sure. These are the descriptive analysis. This is the validity of the scales, and all of them reach the required level. And this is the pool CFA that test the validity of the variables. Then the reliability, reliable as well, and reach the level. So we use the linear regression in order to test our results. Mainly the environmental protection was the most important factor and the most the most factor that has an impact on consumer attitudes. And the eco-labeling, although it was important in the literature, however, it was rejected in the Egyptian context, so it was the hypothesis for eco-labeling was rejected. Moving to the fourth piece, the most influential P was the sustainable practice of firms. It significantly impacts the purchase intention of consumers, and the advertising was totally rejected and has no impact on the purchase intention. And finally, regarding the theory, the subjective norms have also the influential impact, and this goes for the Egyptian culture as a collectivism, so they are easily impacted by the family and relatives and friends. And the path analysis, finally, we just were testing the model fit of the overall variable, and they all reach the required level, and this is the regression model or the structure model for the current study. Finally, moving to the limitation, just the the number of companies were interviewed, although more could be done. The quantitative study was constrained to young adults, although other age groups could be also included in other studies. The generalization problem, so further research for different cultures, especially in the Middle East, it could be included, so generalization problem occurred, and the socially desirable behavior of consumers. Moving finally to the managerial, because of time, managerial implications. It's important for companies to reconsider their pricing strategies and to take into consideration the economic situation of consumers. Convenience of the product and make it easy for consumers to reach such type of products. And it's suggested that marketers should develop effective advertising strategy to promote for the consumption of sustainable products. Thank you.
We'll have the final paper, then we'll open the floor for a general discussion. Now, Dr. Heba Adel and Rada Zenhum going to present their paper entitled Effective Management of Internationalization Strategy. Yes. Sure.
Okay, our paper is about effective management of internationalization strategy, a case study on Egyptian-British partnership by Dr. Ali Zenhum and me, Heba Adel. First of all, let us have a common language about internationalization in higher education because the context is different. Internationalization in higher education varies from one university to the other. However, many studies asserted that it is related to having an international aspect to the educational, research, and managerial processes of a higher education institution. Actually, our research purpose was to investigate and analyze the main elements of the internationalization strategy in a higher educational institution and the different phases of the effective management of each process. Specifically in MSA University and its two international British universities, University of Greenwich and University of Cambridge. Why internationalization in British universities? Education is one of the UK's strongest export industries, and its impact can be felt all around the world. More than 1 million overseas and international students are now studying for a UK higher educational certificate, either in UK or in their home country. Our research value lies in the research gap in two things, actually. The research gap found in the higher research literature. Despite the abundance of studies that discuss the importance of internationalization in higher education, however, to the best of our knowledge, there is a lack of studies that investigated in details the different phases of effective management of the internationalization process in terms of strategy formulation, communication, implementation, and evaluation to maintain a continuous process of improvement, especially in emerging Egyptian-British universities partnership. And our paper adds to the contemporary management research by integrating 3 different streamlines of research in an interdisciplinary manner. actually integrating the literature of internationalization in higher education management, and strategic management. A case study approach was chosen by the authors of this paper, and actually we used the qualitative approach by using the in-depth interviews and the focus groups. And the in-depth interviews were conducted both in UK and in Egypt. And all the interviewees were selected judgment that they are a subject matter experts as being actually involved in the process of internationalization in this partnership between the three universities, University of MSA in Egypt, University of Bedfordshire in UK, and University of Greenwich. And two of these interviews were conducted by the researchers in UK with the head of Educational Development Unit in University of Greenwich and the head of Sustainability Unit in University of Greenwich in UK. And the other interviews and focus groups were conducted with the program leaders and the main tutors in both universities. Why we did choose the case study approach? Actually, it's evident in the literature that it's very beneficial for having a detailed analysis of an organizational process, contemporary organizational process, and in a comprehensive view and detailed view. And why this partnership? Actually, we have different validation agreements in Egypt. We have different partnerships in Egypt, internationally, in different countries. We did choose MSA University with its two international partners based on the researchers' judgment that this higher educational partnership was able to be sustained its international strategy or internationalization strategy through its validation agreements across 8 different faculties since 2003. And also due to the ease of access to the required data, because this research required a primary data collection and secondary data collection with different secondary data collection with different internal data related to the quality assessment reports and the revalidation reports of different programs across the 8 different faculties. This is the process of internationalization applied at this partnership, at this Egyptian-British partnership. Actually, it starts with organizational awareness and preparation for the organization, which includes strategic external and internal scanning to all the positive and negative external and internal factors, representing opportunity, threats, and strengths and weaknesses, before formulating this internationalization strategy. Then we went through the internationalization strategy formulation phase, then the communication phase to all the stakeholders, internally and externally, between the two or the 3 universities, and implementation and evaluation. Evaluation here for the sake of continuous improvement, in order to know whether we are going on the right track or not. And this corporate strategy was conducted. 5 main faculties in MSA University are validated by University of Greenwich, and 3 are validated by University of Bedfordshire. The direction of our corporate level strategy is horizontal integration, horizontal graph. And in order, before maintaining this or sustaining this strategy, we make sure that the strategy are being communicated effectively and efficiently to all the stakeholders. Because the main phase, according to the literature review, the main phase which failed to the sustainability of this strategy is the gap found between the formulation and implementation, because maybe the strategy is formulated perfectly at the top, however, when being implemented across different faculties and different levels, everyone understands or interpret the strategy from his own perspective. So it's very important to maintain a strategy communication. In order to maintain this strategy communication, we make sure that we conduct workshops to the staff and the students to make sure that they have intercultural communication and respect to diversity. And last one, 3 minutes is more than enough. We make sure that we have SMART objectives with its KPIs in order to make sure that we can put a roadmap for our development. The element of our strategy lies where can be summarized in the following elements: international collaborative research and joint conferences. We have annual international collaborative research conferences, fellowships for the teaching staff by UK partners from the 8 different faculties, staff development by UK partners, undergraduate students from different nationalities, postgraduate scholarships to graduates in UK summer courses for undergraduates in UK, and the last one is only applied to some of the faculties, which is international internships and scholarships for completing their graduation projects, mainly in the Faculty of Biotechnology and Faculty of Pharmacy. Our main evaluation matrix was conducted by this research in order to provide a roadmap for improving the performance. Enhancing the international collaborative research projects in terms of the number of collaborative research, the percentage of staff engaged, and the rank of published research. Sustaining the internationally validated programs in terms of the number of re-validated programs to sustain the validation, not only to maintain it and then use it. And the continuous progress detected by our program monitoring reports and module monitoring reports, which are conducted by the program leaders and the module leaders. Promoting students and graduates' international mobility, and these are the KPIs. Mainly the number of graduates involved or completed the postgraduate studies abroad should be increased, and the number of students participating in international awards and research projects. Developing the teaching staff by our UK partners, improving the UK summer plans for undergraduates, and last one, increasing the international joint conferences between us. The findings and practical implications, actually different implications can act as a framework that can be helpful for the leaders in different other international universities. And actually one of the limitations that we apply the case study approach. So generalization can be limited. However, we can provide a framework that can be helpful for other universities. Our main 4 recommendations to maintain workshops for the new staff and the students, because some international students, when we started to talk with them, we found out at the beginning difficulties from other students in terms of inclusivity and diversity management. Greater attention should be given towards students' mobility in terms of not only international postgraduate studies, but also internships in order to enhance the employability of the students and to link the theory with the practice. And also, more effort should be focused towards staff exchange, promoting their research skills, and the last one, obtaining international research funds to help in funding. This is one of our challenges in this partnership, to maintain the joint research conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we give discussion 2 minutes each. Then we'll have 5 minutes for the floor.
To begin with the international effective management of internationalization, then the sustainability bit. First, why this is here? Well, actually, I'm not discussing methodology or the theory used or whatever. I'm just trying to position your paper to the interdisciplinary perspectives in international marketing, which is the topic of our session. Internationalization strategies by universities all over the world, joint collaborations between foreign and domestic universities have been used as their international marketing strategy or their marketing strategy. This is a mechanism to attract and retain students. It has been used by foreign universities as their way to expand their market. They need a framework to enhance the sustainability of such programs. This is why we need research like yours in order to have frameworks that can help them in sustaining such programs. Some of these programs, as you have mentioned, are actually well on the planning level. When it comes into the implementation stage, there are lots of cultural, context-specific issues that they need to address. From my experience, I know that many of such programs in Egypt have failed on the implementation levels because of students, staff, even environmental logistic issues. We need more of this research to enhance sustainability. That's it for your research. This is 1 minute, right? One big minute. My minute. For the sustainability paper, Soha. Sustainability consumption behavior is a very well researched topic. Many stakeholders are looking for us, searching for ways to enhance the sustainable consumption behavior and sustainable purchasing behavior. There has been many findings in the literature related to the factors affecting sustainable consumption behavior, sustainable sustainable purchasing behavior. The research I listened to today is adding an integrated perspective, is not just focusing on consumers. You have surveyed government agencies, you have surveyed companies to have an integrated perspective on why customers purchase sustainable products, why firms are interested in this, what government or public policy agencies are doing to enhance this. This is unfortunate to hear that we are not doing enough on the public policy level. Hopefully, you can communicate your research findings and encourage them to regulate more and help companies through some kind of legislations. Just one question, Soha. Okay. It just, they are all interesting papers, so this is your problem. Okay, we will keep discussions after the session. Thank you very much.
All right. You have to take different work.
I agree. My esteemed colleagues, these papers are both very interesting. I'm looking at getting it published because I was a journal editor for 6 years for the Journal of Research and Interactive Marketing. I would like to see this paper published. I have a few comments. One is on the fact you call it a regression model, but it is a structural equation model. And if you want to be in a North American journal, you should call it that. Because regression and structural equation are two different things that are related. But you would be very well received. You have wonderful fit statistics, so you should really say this is a structural equation model, and then do some of the things that are wonderful to do with structural equation modeling, mediation analysis. The other thing is, wow, you have a lot of variables. So as a journal editor, I would look at this paper and say, what really is important in telling my story? And I know I feel your pain because before I have the paper, I'm going to talk one of the papers I'm going to talk about published. I'm going to talk about tomorrow. They made me take two very important variables out. Really, I thought told a better story, but they said we don't have more than this many variables in our journal, and if you want to get in our journal, this is what it should look like. So sometimes you have to take a hard look and see what really helps you tell your story. But I agree, excellent research and a lot of potential there. So where is my other person? Here she is. Okay. Again, really great, and I do have a question for you. I was very intrigued by at the end where you talked about industry partnerships and getting internships. I thought that was going to be a finding. And I was wondering if you're going to redo your picture to show as a result of your research what should happen, because I think it really needs to be that the industry people contribute in the front end.
Yes,
Yes.
actually, well, yes. I actually don't need the microphone. Actually, one of my interests in the research is to conduct a value chain, an educational value chain, a supply chain, and linking the education market with the law market, especially in Egypt. And it's very important, after I studied the fellowship in higher education here in Dr. Reda in UK, we found out that it's very important also not only in the managerial part, but also in the education, higher education, is to insert the different items for employability and to make the education in the industry. It's very important that we conduct different internships and different features and different collaboration with the industry in Egypt, and actually it's one of the requirements for the national